The bigger issue, though, isn't, from my perspective, where the ring was on the finger. It's the numbers on the page that he ultimately signed, because he wrote a check on April 17 when he was on with McAfee, as he was complaining about people speculating about how much money he wanted. Here's what he told Pat McAfee and company about what he wanted in order to play in 2025.
I've been straight up with these teams from the start about where I was at, starting with the money thing. I told every single one of the teams I talked to, it ain't about the money. I'll play for 10 M's. I don't care. I never once said I need a multi-year deal, $30, $40 million. It was absolute bullshit. I said I'd play for 10. Yeah.
Now, before we get to the numbers, I want to tell you exactly what went on here. You had Rodgers and what he was saying, and you had his agent, David Dunn, and what he was saying. Because Dunn's name is on this, too. And Dunn had to fight and scratch and claw to get him, I'm told, to take what he got. Dunn was trying to get him to take more. Dunn knows he's worth more. And in a weird sort of roundabout way, this contract makes David Dunn look bad, because he's the one who's associated with one of the all-time great quarterbacks in the NFL taking a contract that comes in, even if he unlocks every incentive, at under $20 million. But it wasn't 10. It's not 10, and I knew it wasn't going to be 10. He's not playing for $10 million. He's not. The base value is $13.65 million. The incentives can push it to 19.5. Now, to get the full incentives, they may have to win the Super Bowl. Haven't seen the full contract yet, but I'm told he may have to. Now, he could get close, but to get it all, they may have to win the Super Bowl. But the funny wrinkle to all of it, Chris, when it was reported, it's a one-year, $13.65 million deal with $10 million guaranteed. 10 million. There's the number. They're going to find a way to work that number in. He's playing for $10 million guaranteed. Here's the reality. The only way he's getting $10 million is if they cut him before week 1. The minute he dresses and plays against the Jets, he is guaranteed 13.65. So that's a lie. It's just a lie. It's phony and it's fake, folks. It's bullshit. It's 13.65. But he had to find a way to make that 10 match. He's playing for 13.65, which is more than 10. But it's still more than what he wanted. I think he would have done it for 10. I think at the end of the day, I don't know this, but I think at the end of the day, his agent really squeezed him to take more than 10.
I wouldn't be shocked, of course. I mean, the agent, he certainly wants to look a certain way, like you talked about. Is an all-time great quarterback. He's still got skills and talent, but I mean, damn, 13.6. That's a
hell of a bargain.
That's a hell of a deal. Like, listen, you could say what you want about Aaron Rodgers. Here's 2 teams in a row that he's just sacrificed great money for to say, okay, I'll do it. I'll play. All right, here's $30 million back, Woody Johnson, even though you got billions. And here, I'll take
pharmaceutical
this deal.
billions, too.
Right. So,
COVID billions.
I give him
here's $35 million.
I give him a lot of credit here. I do. And to me, it's like, okay, he said $10 million. 13.6 is close enough. That's a gimme. I'll give it to him. And it's a hell of a deal for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get this guy.
Is $3.65 million nothing to you?
No, but
that's a lot of money, bro.
In that
that's
world,
like 4 Ferraris.
In that world, it's nothing. In that world, it's like one game check for Josh Allen right now. I mean, that's what we're talking about. In the quarterback world, the $3.6 million. I mean, that's where we are. But damn quarterbacks are getting $3 million checks every time they step on the field, the good ones. So it's a huge sacrifice. I'll give them that for sure.
Well, two things. I do want to see what it takes to get to 19.5.
Right.
And I'll get that. We'll get the full details of the incentive package. Playing time and team performance. And the team performance is up to including, my understanding is, winning the Super Bowl. But you can still get close to 19.5 without that. Here's the other side of it. And I'm glad you mentioned the Jets. Because when the Jets traded for him in 2023, the contract issue hovered for a while. I remember talking to Joe Douglas about it. It went unresolved. It was like right around training camp. They did this deal where he gave up $35 million to the great dismay and consternation of his agent then, because they get 3%, up to 3% of the $35 million. The $35 million went bye-bye. Now, I remember saying at the time, they say there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as a guy who just gives up money, unless he's doing it under the threat of you're going to be cut if you don't give up the money. he did them a favor on the way through the door, and he's doing the Steelers a favor on the way through the door. And I just wonder what the expectation is in return. Do I get to design the offense? Do I get to call whatever audibles whenever I want? Are we going to bring Randall Cobb in? Are we going to trade for Alan Lazard? Does Nathaniel Hackett join the team as a consultant? I don't even know if Nathaniel Hackett's with anyone now. But I just wonder, when you do a favor like that, are you expecting something in return? And will this posture they assumed for weeks, where we're just waiting for Aaron Rodgers, does that become Rodgers having a lot more say over the team like he did his first year with the Jets? Or is it more like Green Bay when he was upset that their attitude was, you just work here? And the Steelers are a you just work here kind of team.
They are.
That's what makes this next step very interesting. How much of it will be you just work here versus, hey, this is kind of Aaron Rodgers' team for one season?
I feel like it won't be, the reins will not be turned over like it was the New York Jets. He's not going to be just, God there. Not that way. They're going to be happy to have him. They're certainly going to bend some things and do some things that favor him and the offense and whatever else. But do I think they're going to change everything? No, I don't. And I hope they don't. Again, this is where I hope Mike Tomlin can find that right way of that Bruce Arians, Tom Brady stuff of just, hey, no, people are open downfield. Hey, I'm at the country club. Yeah, Brady doesn't throw it downfield. He's a big wimp. He won't stand in the pocket. I mean, that's what he did. That's how he got Brady to be that way and aggressive towards the end of his career. They got to make sure they don't become hostage to the dink and dunk, let me do this and do all that crap Aaron Rodgers offense. That for sure. And I would be surprised if Pittsburgh let him take over to that extent. The only thing to what you're talking about that I could see in this scenario is that Rodgers just goes, hey, I'll take this deal. But listen, if there's a guy trade deadline, blah, 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 we got to make the move. I'm taking 13.6. But if blah, blah, blah receiver or somebody's like that, you got to make sure, handshake, man to man, that we put our best effort to get that guy during the trade deadline to get us over the hump and maybe become a Super Bowl team. That's where I could see him speaking up in that meeting he had with them 6 or 7 weeks ago in this ordeal.
Like the third-round draft pick the Jets pissed away for Davante Adams that got them nothing like that. That's the problem. That's the counter.
I know. Well, you're right. It is. That's scary. But as we know, too, there was way more than just that. Davante Adams showed he's still pretty good, and he made a lot of damn big plays for the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers and them did have a connection, but like you've said a million times, I mean, come on. The Jets, by the time they made that trade, they had already effed things up so bad it didn't matter if they brought Superman in to save the day.
They never should have done that. Right, that was a desperation, bright, shiny object.
Exactly.
Ship is sinking.
Right.
Let's do anything we can to try to turn this around, and that was a mistake. If the Steelers are truly moving toward the top of the division, the all-in move that Mike Tomlin made last year when he benched Justin Fields for Russell Wilson, that's the kind of all-in move it would be. Not that it worked last year, but it would be like that. We're 5-2, 6-1, someone's available. Maybe Davante Adams will be available. I don't know, but I doubt that the Rams would want to move on from him that quickly. But there could be a veteran receiver out there who's available because we know there are going to be teams that are bad. And there may be guys that start jostling for a new start. I mean, the last year, my contract, or I want to go pursue a ring, or whatever the case may be. You just pick a team, any team, that if they start off 2-5 and we're creeping toward the trade deadline, they could have one or more starting receivers or even a tight end, although they have Pat Freiermuth, but they could have somebody who would come in and supercharge the offense, maybe even a veteran running back.
Yeah.
Right? Because Jaylen Warren currently is their top option. There could be a veteran running back out there that all of a sudden is available. So just someone to make the team better, even on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Are you going to spend the money? Hey, are you going to take care of T.J. Watt now? If I'm T.J. Watt, hey, you gave $30 million a year, $35 million a year in new money, average, to DK Metcalf. Truly, it's $30 million a year. But and Rodgers does this low. Are we doing this now? We're going to try to win. We're going to be happy here. We're going to make everything work. I think this will embolden T.J. Watt to get what he deserves, and they'll still have money left over that they can go out and make an all-in move at or around the trade deadline if they see an opportunity to do it.
I think that would be the ideal scenario. Yeah, and hopefully the fact that Rodgers does this this contract this way, that this makes the TJ Watt situation easier to handle, and yeah, they can get that done and limit distractions and limit all that chatter to where they can get the training camp and just play football and not have to worry about everything like that. I'm excited for it. I am. I know Aaron Rodgers. Listen, I'm one of the biggest fans ever in his prime. I said it last week. I'll say it until I die. In his prime, he's as good as anybody I've ever seen in my life at quarterback. The last few years, am I going to sit here and tell you that he is a pain in the butt at times and I get sick of talking about him and all that? Sure, I'll tell you that too. But I do like football with him in it. I like him one last hurrah with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin in that division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Like, come on, we're going to get to see those matchups four times this year. That's incredible too. So it's a good day for football in the NFL, the AFC North, and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Playing the Packers on Sunday Night Football.
Right.
The tour of the NFC North again.
Incredible.
Back across the Atlantic Ocean to face the Vikings week 4 in Dublin, Ireland, a year after he faced the Vikings in London. There's a lot of great games now, and there would have been more of those games in prime time if he had made his announcement earlier than he did before the schedule came out. Week 1, think about that. Week 1, 1 o'clock game.
Oh, I know.
Right out of the gates.
All right.
Steelers at the Jets.
The Jets fans are going to boo him so hard, it's going to be unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
The stadium's going to shake.
And, are you surprised? I want to do one more thing while we're talking about Rodgers because I didn't realize you're not going to be with me tomorrow. So I was thinking maybe we can move it to tomorrow, but we're going to do it today.
I know. I'm going
and we'll
to
work out the rest
tomorrow.
of the show.
They tell you that?
I know. I know. I always find out everything about your availability for the show after everyone else in the company is aware of it. That's when I find out. And yes, I'm complaining, but I'm also accurate. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.